Okay, so we're back in the tool set again, and just off camera, I just cleaned this area up here, removed all those guys because I didn't need them anymore for the next part. And this time we're going to go across the river here, and there's another camp we've got set up. And what we're going to do is set up some things to fight. And I'm going to just go over to my blueprints here, and we're going to grab a copy of these kobolds. And the entire work with the kobolds, we're just going to use the one blueprint, this one blueprint here. So the first thing I'm going to want to do, actually I'm going to leave that for a second. I'm going to bring over his properties. And I do want to change his perception range. I'm going to change it to short so that we can see how they behave that way. Plus I want to be able to get in there and see them before they attack me. And that's it. I'm just going to leave the rest. Okay, put that back, and we'll put that back. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab a spawn, Legend Spawn plugin, waypoint, and I'm going to place this. Actually, I'm going to bring up the surface mesh so I can make sure I'm laying these in an area that they can actually spawn in. There we go. And I'm going to load up the spawn plugin and edit him and throw our cobalt. And I'm going to put two kobolds here. I like to have two kobolds on this spawn point, and I'm going to set their respawn time to 2 minutes. And I'm going to update scripts because these guys are brand new. And I'm going to hit finish. And there. And what I want to do also is I'm going to take a copy of this one, and I'm going to lay another one kind of up here. And I'm going to lay another one kind of over here, and another one kind of right there. So I can turn this off now. And I've got these guys. So ideally, because these guys are so far away, and I've got the perception set to short, these guys won't see what's going on over here kind of thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and I'm going to check these guys' AI for this waypoint. And look at the spawn point, and I'm going to have these guys roam around without stops. And I'm going to make sure that they kind of don't go much further than 5 meters. And this one, I'm going to make these guys behave a little differently. These guys are going to have a combat behavior of ranged. So as you can see, I can have ambusher, cowardly, defensive, and ranged. Ambusher types, of course, they have to have some skill in hide and whatnot. What they like to do is they like to run off in a fight and try and hide and sneak back up on you. Cowardly, these guys, if they don't have numbers on their side, if there's a crowd of them, you got a swarm of kobolds, they're fine, they'll fight. But if you start chopping a few of them down and dwindle their numbers, anybody who's set to cowardly is going to run away. Defensive, these are the kind of guys that are going to use extra defensive type feats. If they have skill in parry, they're going to do some parry. If they have knockdown, they're going to do that more often. If they have combat expertise, they're going to turn that on. Stuff like that. That's what defensive type guys do. And of course, these guys, what we're going to do is going to set the range. So these guys are going to try their best to fight ranged if they can. So that's what ranged is about. And of course, we're going to want them to roam around too without stops. So we're going to set that to 5 meters and finish. These guys, we're just going to do the same normal stuff. We're just going to have them, roam without stops. 5. And you kind of have to be careful of roaming with and without stops. And the reason I say that is if I set these guys to be mobile with stops, and I happen to have left these stop points over here where these NPCs were using them, these guys would have a tendency to try and make their way over here if they could. You know, their range is set short, so they probably wouldn't make it a lot of the times, but they're going to try, and if I happen to have their range up really high, they could possibly make it all the way over here because they would have a desire to try and get to their stop waypoints. So you have to kind of bear that in mind. If you have areas with NPCs and creatures, monsters in the same area, be wary of that kind of conflict that you could have. May not be desired. So there we go. These kobolds are going to want to fight ranged, and these ones are going to want to fight melee as best they can. So we're going to go in game and take a look at this and go from there. Okay, so we're in game again, and we're going to head on over to our kobold camp and see what we've got. So we've got a couple of kobolds wandering around. There's the two melees. These guys up here in the back are going to be, you know, kind of range preferred. These two over here and these two here. So what I'm going to try and do, I'm going to try and get into that camp over there without, you know, aggravating these guys. Because I really don't want to fight them all right now. Even though, you know, I think I'm like level 4 or 5. These guys are puny little kobolds. There's my chance. Right there, and I'm going to run in and attack this guy. Whoops, I mean to kill him so fast. But as you can see, they will try and fight ranged. These two guys in the back here. This guy's going to go melee. I'm going to let them hit me a little bit. This guy kind of chases me around. You know, he really has a desire to go melee. I'll approach these ranged guys, and you can see they kind of run away because they want to try and stay range with me. But if I corner them or I back them into a place where they can't really you know, use range, they'll pull out their melee weapon and kind of fight me with that. But if given the chance, you know, they're gonna want to have a desire to. Whoops, I'll get trapped in there. They're gonna want to have a desire to run off a little bit and use their range. As you can see, there they are again. Looks like I've attracted the attention of a few more. But as you can see, this one guy who was set to the melee group, he kind of started ranging until I got close enough, and then he switched it up to melee, and now he's kind of, you know, happy doing melee. But the range guys, they have a tendency to want to range more than the rest. So they're going to do what they can. You know, range guys will run off like that one there, and sometimes they'll pull out their melee weapon and fight that, but try and range whenever they can. So I'm going to splatter these guys around a little bit, and well, looks like they got me. I let them beat on me too long. But as you can see, that's an example of range versus melee type critters. So I'm gonna, yeah, they're still after me. I'm going to get out of this game and go back to the tool set, and let's make these guys. Let's bring these guys a little friend to make them a little bit more challenging. Maybe a surprise for the player. So I'll see you back in the tool set.